Good morning. It's Friday, May 28th. Is it the 28th? Yes. 2021. I looked at the wrong calendar yesterday and said the wrong date, but anyway, it was Thursday yesterday. Today's Friday. It's 2021. I'm Pastor Thor Ramsey with Center Church. This is Gospel for 5, where we take 5 minutes out of our day and focus on the gospel because Jesus is the gospel. So we've been dealing with the heavy subject of extramarital affairs. Finishing up chapter 5 here. For a man's ways are before the eyes of the Lord, and he ponders all his paths. This is the Lord pondering your paths. The iniquities of the wicked ensnare him. Don't ensnare the Lord. It's the iniquities of the wicked ensnare them. So we were just talking about adultery. So you get caught up in these relationships, and your life just becomes a tangled mess, and he's held fast in the cords of his sin. And there we have the nature of sin. It's like what begins as sweetness and honey then becomes, what was the famous, that's an older movie with Michael Douglas and Glenn Close, Fatal Attraction. There you go. Begins as sweet as honey, it ends with fatal attraction, and all of a sudden there's a rabbit being boiled in a pot in your kitchen. It's not pretty. So, the iniquities of the wicked ensnare him, and he is held fast in the cords of his sin. He dies for lack of discipline, and because of his great folly he is led astray. People who have adulterous affairs are foolish. They're led astray by their foolishness. They're not thinking rightly. They're not pondering their path. They're on the wrong path. They're not thinking right. And they're going to find that in the end, emotionally, it's going to be utter ruin. They're going to lose relationships. However long the sweetness lasts, the end will not be sweet. The end will be bitter. Now he gives some practical warnings, as if warning about adultery isn't practical enough. This is the title here. This isn't part of the Holy Writ, but they put the title Practical Warnings, beginning chapter 6. My son, if you have put up security for your neighbor. Now we're in a completely different subject. Proverbs does this all the time. Goes for a segment of a subject that is all connected, and then it's just verse by verse, switching subjects. My son, if you have put up security for your neighbor, have given your pledge for a stranger, if you are snared in the words of your mouth, caught in the words of your mouth, then do this, my son, and save yourself. For you have come into the hand of your neighbor. Go hasten and plead urgently with your neighbor. So this is a financial situation. Given a pledge, put up security. Generally, that's some sort of financial dealing. And now you can't pay. Give your eyes no sleep and your eyelids no slumber. Save yourself like a gazelle from the hand of the hunter, like a bird from the hand of the fowler. I guess their, late penalties were a little more severe back then. Go to the ant, O sluggard. So it's just saying, go make things right as soon as you can. If you borrowed money from someone, you can't pay it back. If you're having some sort of financial issue from somebody that you borrowed from, go and take care of that right away. And then he says, go to the ant, O sluggard, consider his ways and be wise. Without having any chief, officer, or ruler, she prepares her bread in summer and gathers her food in harvest. So again, saying you probably had to end up borrowing from somebody. You had to put up a pledge of something. You had to put up security. That now you're not going to get whatever you put up back, it sounds like. And you're in this situation because you did not deal wisely with your finances. Dave Ramsey's entire ministry, well, I will say this, to be fair, is Dave Ramsey's ministry really came from another gentleman, Larry, what was Larry's last name? Never became as famous as Dave Ramsey, but he had a financial ministry. I can't remember his name right now. But Dave Ramsey's ministry was really influenced by this other gentleman's ministry, but they were both. They're both their ministries. They're both their financial ministries are based upon the wisdom of Proverbs, not upon their own wisdom. So Proverbs gives plenty of great financial wisdom, and we're just touching on some of it here, and we'll pick up the rest next week. What's the Lord said to you today, and what do you